I want to get y'all's perspective on what I am going to dub a cancel culture light segment that I have been seeing develop in the background, but also feel like it might potentially be kind of weirdly overblown. So the president of, sorry, there's a delay here. The president of NYU's college Republicans was apparently forced to resign after calling Barron Trump an oddity on campus. It says Kai Walker said her comments were ridiculously misconstrued when she had her resignation letter. So she had said to Vanity Fair that Barron was sort of like she says, sort of like an oddity on campus. He goes to class, he goes home. Barron is finishing his freshman year at NYU. He's in the Stern Business School. He's opted to live in his dad's penthouse apartment, which, dude, same. Have you been to a college dorm ever? Also, he has tons of security concerns. And this is sort of mirrors to me some comments that a couple of his classmates gave after his high school graduation, just saying like, he's nice, but he doesn't, he eats lunch at home, he doesn't participate in sports. Again, to me, security concerns, question mark. But this didn't seem like that offensive of a comment to me. I mean, I guess oddity isn't the favorite word. You could have gone with something of like an enigma on campus or something else. But is this worth making someone resign over? What do you think, Joy?
I think that's so silly. Of course he's an oddity. He's like 6'7", surrounded by security all the time. It's a little weird, but it doesn't have to be weird/bad. It's just weird. I don't think that's a big deal at all.
I think we have to we have to watch out to not become the thing we hate. So, we hated cancel culture when the liberals were going around canceling us, and then we want to do the same to them now that we happen to hold the reins of power and the tides have turned in our favor. I feel the exact same way about the Hamas protesters on campus. I see in the comment section of, these protesters who are yelling things that are not pro-American, right? They're pro-Hamas, which, we know are largely a group of murderers, despite their cause, which we can have a debate about. The problem is, I look in the comment section, I see conservatives, Republicans being like, to the gallows, or lock them up, or kick them out of the country. I mean, what happened to free speech exactly? So what if
yeah, that's true,
Barron Trump is an oddity? Even if she called him a total loser, why are we canceling her exactly? And why are people cheering for this? I don't get it. We're becoming the thing we hate, and I just don't respect it at all.
To me, it seemed almost like, maybe this club that wants to lure Barron into joining, potentially to have, President Donald Trump appear at one of their meetings or events. It almost seemed like they were like, shh, you can't say that about Barron, as if he is protected in himself. When Trump ran in 2016 and he was, I think, 12 at the time, 11 or 12, very young, and he was falling asleep on stage, or just like people were making lots of weird speculations about him and, whatever else, I felt like that was inappropriate. But in this case, like, she's not saying, here's all of his dirty laundry. She's not saying, he's a terrible person. Like, it's just like, yeah, he's sort of this character. Like, he walks around with Secret Service, he goes to class, he goes home. We don't know him that well. It seems like turning it, and again, this might be the liberal media a little bit wanting, this is People Magazine, wanting there to be drama within the Republicans or drama around Barron. But it seems a little unfair that she should lose her position.
Yeah, I think there's a danger with over-policing, whether it is an authoritarian right or a totalitarian left. You don't want either one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
We don't police speech.
Yeah, especially for a school like NYU. I mean, this article goes on to point out that Dylan and Cole Sprouse, the Disney Channel child actors, and I think the Olsen twins, like, it has had actually a lot of very famous students, maybe more so than other universities and stuff. Obviously the Bush twins famously went to college while their dad was in office. It's not like there has never been a time that we have seen any other young child of a president or a famous person attend school. But for some reason, Barron being maybe withdrawn is curious to the media. I mean, maybe they just want something from him, which to me would then reinforce not going anywhere or making any friends with these people would be in his best interest, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's sad. It must be a weird time to go through college and be like 18.
Yeah, poor guy. He doesn't really have anything to do with anything yet. He's just a kid. But when you're that literally large of a target, what are you supposed to do?
It's so true. Do you guys, I know especially, this comes up every once in a while, but especially during the inauguration when you had the shot of JD Vance and then Trump and Barron in the background, there are a lot of people who are like, Barron is actually the true heir to the MAGA movement. Do you guys feel that way, or do you think it's just sort of like he's young, he's good looking, he's 100 feet tall? I think it's more meme culture.
Are just silly. That's all I think it is. I think people are just being silly. You don't know anything about this guy. This guy, he could be super liberal for all you know. You have no idea who this is. No one is introduced to him, as they should not be. He deserves privacy when he's 18 years old. But yeah, I think the internet is just funny sometimes.
I think we'll all be surprised with whatever he ends up doing. I think if I were him, I would want to do something that no one ever expected of me. I do think that people can be bored and they like the idea of some kind of dynasty happening here. But I've also seen the people's theories out there that he's the Antichrist. So I don't think there's any lack of theories for what's gonna happen for Barron's future. And I think it's gonna be just very interesting. If I was him, I would just surprise everyone.
Yeah, I really want him to marry the princess of Spain that's in line for the throne. I think they're about the same age, and I just feel like that would be a power couple. They're both tall, they're both good looking, and maybe he doesn't run for election in America. Maybe he just starts taking over Europe.
Why not?
Do you think that our culture likes presidential families? Do you think that we want to see families in the White House?
I think it is natural for any social species, and humans are one of them, to have a marker to look up to. And for some people, that's celebrities. That is why celebrity culture is a thing. For other people, that's the prince and princess. Here, that would be the people in the White House. So whether we think it's a good thing or not, it's going to happen. We're going to look up to somebody. We're going to idolize somebody. The question is, who is that going to be? Is that going to be the president? In our case, probably, because they make all the decisions. They're in the news cycle all the time. That's who everyone's cameras are on. So yeah, definitely. Especially, I think, with the elimination or decrease in religion, where you're not looking up to an idol in a religious sphere as a nation, as religion has been decreasing, you're going to look up to celebrities or people in the White House, people in government.
Right. And as our worldview, I mean, especially because of the internet, but entertainment, movies, as this broad cultural screen culture, I should say, became more prevalent, it seems like that eliminated having your sort of local celebrities. It's not that we don't have them, but it goes from being your scope just being the small town to being, all eyes on the highest levels of society for any kind of influence.
Right.
I mean, I personally feel like I did a video on this a couple weeks ago on my YouTube channel, but there's always speculation that Melania Trump and Donald Trump are like on the brink of divorce, or she hates him, or this year, right before the inauguration, it was like, she's going to reveal where she's living. And she did this interview. She's like, I'm going to live at the White House. Like, it was almost as if she was like, why are you asking me this? I'm going to live at the White House. And when I need to be in New York, I'll be there. And when I need to be at Mar-a-Lago, I'll be there. But, I'm going to live with my husband. And, no matter, every time she doesn't divorce Donald Trump, it's like the media is shocked about this because they want her to fit into a narrative they have already preset. I assume Barron and other famous children, but Barron in this case, experienced the same kind of pressure.
Oh, for sure. And like, whether it's a good thing that we do that to them or not, from a biology perspective, as a social pack species, you are going to look to the alpha pairing just in general for everything at all times. So that is why it matters so much to us whether the Obamas are on the brink, whether the Trump family is on the brink. That social situation, it really, really matters to us. That is just programmed into our monkey brain, and there's really nothing we can do about it. It just is.
I know
I think it's more than just, sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go.
It's more than just the gossip, though. I think that who we hold up as like the ideal family in our society says a lot about who we are as Americans. And we saw the Kamala Harris family train wreck that is going on with the kids there, and I think a lot of people see the Trump family as a family that can be looked up to, do I personally believe that? Well, Trump's on his third wife and he's got kids from everybody. I don't think that this is the best we can do as Americans. I will say this, I am very pleased to see young families like JD Vance's family. I love to see more children being brought out of the corner of the room and put back into the spotlight. Like, this is our future. We don't need to have children being kind of put off to the side where they can stay out of the way. I think that that's a good thing for our culture, to be embracing young families and young children. And I do think that it says, for better or worse, I think that who we look up to as our first family says a lot about who we are as Americans.
Yeah. The JD Vance's family is so fascinating to me. I mean, they really made a great group impression at the inauguration, between the Band-Aid fingers and the ruffling of hair, or the photos of them departing Air Force Two with like their children in coats, but also clearly in pajamas. I think there is this, I think you kind of have to fall in love with families again. We talked about population crisis families at the beginning of the show. And I know I'm not the only one to say this, but there were a lot of people who were like, if Usha Vance has a fourth baby while being the second lady, we will see a baby boom in America, because there is this sort of anti-child energy, I think, that's developed as part of modern culture, that they are, and it's not that kids aren't something you have to sacrifice for, and it's not that they aren't challenging and whatever else. Like, it's not that it's an easy decision or an easy path to have, but so often I think our culture shunts children out of sight and out of mind, and therefore it becomes easy to forget that it's an active choice you have to make, and also something you as a culture have to welcome. I can't tell you how many young parents I've known who've been like, well, when I went to Italy, like, everyone wanted to hold my baby, and like they were just happy to see your baby. Whereas in America, it's like, don't bring your child to the airport, don't bring them to restaurants, essentially stay at home.